Let's do it. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar. My name is Jenna Vaccaro, and just a little background on me. I have been in the SEO industry for about 15 years. And with all those years, you'd think that my husband would know what I do by now, but he doesn't. But I have been in all aspects of SEO, organic marketing, from management to strategy to implementation to the technical side. And while I enjoy all of it, I do have a favorite, e-commerce, which is why we wanted to talk about that today with you guys. It's, I think, the most interesting, unique, a lot of opportunities. So yeah, so that's me. I think we could get started in our little presentation here. Can you?
There's a chat feature on the side for anyone. We'll be doing Q&A at the end, and we'd like these to be as conversational as possible. So if at any point during this presentation you have any questions, please feel free to lob them in the chat, and Jenna and I will get to them.
Yes, absolutely. We'll leave plenty of time afterwards. All right. So today, again, like I mentioned, we want to talk about SEO for e-commerce. And come on.
You got to go to your first slide.
You don't want to start at the end?
I don't.
Okay, cool. So here we go. That's me and that's Brooke. All right, so the agenda today, we're going to talk a little bit about Mason Interactive, which Brooke will jump into in a little bit. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of SEO. What is it? How is it useful for e-commerce? Again, specifically, how is it different? Why, what a different campaign looks like for e-commerce. We're going to go through we're going to clear up some of those myths and misconceptions about SEO. I'm going to show you some examples about what a successful SEO campaign looks like. And some key takeaways. We'll give you a little tidbit to take home with you to check out your site. And then again, we'll leave some time at the end for hopefully answer some of your questions. All right, Brooke, you want to jump in?
Yeah, so Mason Interactive, the company is named after my 12-year-old son, which means the company's 11 years old. We're a boutique digital marketing agency in New York City. We're opening our second office in North Carolina. We're supposed to be open now, but COVID has delayed that, but we have key employees down there putting down roots. So we focus on direct-to-consumer and emerging brands. We have clients in other verticals, but the majority of our work is with direct-to-consumer brands with e-commerce. We are a premier partner of Google and Facebook. What that means is that according to Google, not us, according to Google, we're one of the top 5% of all unaffiliated agencies in the United States. We need to update that. We have about 50 clients globally, so 20 employees between New York City and growing in Charlotte, and about 50 clients focused in direct-to-consumer.
Cool. All right.
And we wanted to talk specifically today about SEO for e-commerce for this reason. What we see with our clients, and I'm generalizing, what we see with our clients in general is that people are willing to spend money on ads because they see the direct investment, and I understand that. That's a big piece of our business. But any of you who are going to look in your analytics, assuming your business is more than 6 months old, any of you looking in analytics are going to see that organic traffic is your best converting channel. There's a bunch of reasons for that, but we think it needs to be more of a priority. And what I will say is that my own company at Mason Interactive, we spend more time and effort on our own internal SEO work than we do on media buying. It converts better, it's cheaper, and we think everyone should be doubling down on SEO. And there's time still, if we want to talk about it, to get ready for the holiday. This is going to be a strange year with COVID and some other trends going on in the marketplace, but there's still time now to get ready for Black Friday and the holiday season. So that's why we wanted to have this webinar today.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thanks, Brooke. So we're going to jump into what is SEO. So some fundamentals here. Search engine optimization, SEO, is the scientific art of optimizing your site around a specific set of keywords in order to rank higher in search results, such as Google. I say scientific art because it's twofold, right? So the science behind it is we know what Google uses as indicators of success. So we know, and I'll get into that later. So there's the science behind their algorithm, right? So the art part of it, though, is the creativity that goes into it from a content standpoint, from an image standpoint, from a messaging standpoint. So again, scientific art, SEO. So when you search for something on Google, for example, you're taken to the search engine results page, as we refer to as the SERP. So the SERP has evolved over the years. So 20 years ago, looking a little scary. You really couldn't find anything. It was very hard to dig through, but it was also very easy for us SEOs. So it was a matter of, entering a couple of keywords on your site, and then boom, tomorrow you're ranked #1. People are finding you quickly. It was a lot easier then. So now, fast forward to now on the right-hand side, a lot going on the SERP. So there's, these the carousel at the top for top stories. If your search garners articles or current events, that screen on the right-hand side, iPhone X with the image, that's a knowledge graph. So that's, every information about your specific search, whether that is a brand or a specific product. And then right below the image, the top stories, you'll see your traditional organic results. So if you ever wondered where to hide a dead body, it's page 2 of the SERP, because no one goes there. So 4.8 of total searches make it to the second page. So people are looking on the first page, they trying to find what they can. They're not typically moving on to the second page. Again, even lower, third page, about 1% of all searches. So we want to get to that sweet spot. We want to get to #1, the top result. 32% of all searches land on and click on the first result. And when I say first result, there's about 10 or so results on the first page. So if you type in, buy black shoes. So we want to hit that first result that's not a paid ad. We want to be showing up there, right? So as you go a little bit further down, the second result, so the #2 position has about 17% of all traffic. And then even lower, try the 6th result, barely any searches, less than 5%. So how is SEO different for e-commerce? It's twofold, right? So traditional sites that aren't trying to sell anything, it's a similar idea where we want to get the site to show up for whoever's searching for a keyword. We want to provide an answer. So we want to provide content. We want to provide a landing page, a product. So when done right, e-commerce optimizations will help you rank high, and your pages should provide the best solutions to a user's purchase intent. So if you have a storefront and you want to rank for black shoes, we want that page to be optimized for black shoes, because somebody's searching for that. It's that purchase intent is there. They want to buy it. They don't want to learn about the history of black shoes. They don't want to have a Wikipedia article that tells us what black shoes mean. They want to buy black shoes. So optimizing e-commerce sites can yield an ongoing free source of high converting organic traffic. So what that means is we get a client to rank #1 for black shoes. We continuously, the effort is there to make sure that that always is in position 1. So through vivid product descriptions and eye-catching photography, lots of reviews. This is specific to e-commerce. It helps visitors make their purchase decisions. So we're offering them a chance to, you're searching for this product, I have it, here's this page, and I optimized it accordingly because I knew you wanted to buy this thing. So what does that mean? Top position equals more sales. So we just talked about it, right? 32% of all traffic goes to the top position. So let's do math. The keyword educational toys. So that's something that I actively have been looking for as, I'm working from home now. So my kids are here and I want them to stop playing video games. I'm looking for educational toys. That's a real search that I do. So that garners about over almost 10,000 searches a month. So about 10,000 people in the US are searching for that term at any given month. So we're going to assume, again, that 32%, right? So 32% of those clicks go to the first result. So that gives you about 3,000 clicks, roughly. and we're assuming a conversion rate of 10%. Everybody's different, of course, but if we're assuming a conversion rate, so that traffic converts into leads, somebody is buying something from you, they click on a search result, they look at your product, they add it to their cart, and they buy. If we're assuming a 10% conversion rate, that would give you an extra 316 sales per month, just for ranking that one keyword on that first result. So of course that could mean so many avenues of opportunities, right? Depending on how many products you have. If you have one product, great. How many different search terms can we show up for in first position? So it doesn't matter if you have one product or if you have 50,000, there's the opportunity is there to increase your sales from the organic channel. That is, again, as Brooke mentioned, the highest converting channel of all digital marketing.
We can compare you just as a baseline to anyone that you're competing against. So if you sell black shoes and your competitor sells black shoes, we can do some research and we can see how many key terms your competitor is ranking for. If your competitor is ranking for, it's always eye-opening, 100,000 key terms around black shoes, well, you've got your work cut out for you, right? But we can use competitive research to plant the flag and move forward. And the point I'm trying to get at is people rank for thousands and thousands of key terms, and there are many variations of different search terms for your products.
Exactly. So this is my favorite section because people who think they know about SEO or they've been in it for years or they heard about it from a friend, there's all these myths surrounding SEO and I like to debunk them. So myth number one, do it and you're done, right? Do SEO when I'm done with SEO, or, somebody I've overheard things like, I've done a lot up front when my site was launched, so I never have to look at anything again. Wrong. So sorry, that was a little harsh, but it is ever changing, right? So it's great that you do stuff up front, and it's important to have your site healthy and available for, aligned with the best possible optimization. And that's such a great start. We've seen a lot of successful campaigns coming to us like, hey, we already did a ton of optimizations, right? We are ranking for a lot of terms, but we're looking for that next step. We're looking for conversion rate optimization. We're looking for, more specific targeted demographics, or we're looking for, local SEO or something like that. So it is ever changing. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So it's not saying, again, you can't post something tomorrow and expect hours later for it to rank. But there are opportunities with various keywords, as Brooke mentioned, hundreds of thousands of keywords. That little thing called Google, they change what they think is important all the time. So, over the years, there's things, it's meant for quality updates, right? It's meant for, Google wants to provide the user with the most relevant search result. They don't want somebody looking for black shoes to come across a Wikipedia article. They want to show Amazon, they want to show Nike, they want to show, Wayfair, whatever it is. The update, we want to stay ahead of the Google algorithm update. So if you're just doing one and done SEO, not looking at it again, you missed the boat on a huge algorithm update like the one earlier this year that said Google's prioritizing authority and credibility. So people in the medical field or in a few different industries will be prioritized, but if they have content that's written from an authoritative source versus people who just publish a ton of content for clicks. So then there's that thing called seasonality, keeping up with your competitors. If you decide, hey, we're going to scale back on SEO because it's a low season for us, that just gives your competitors opportunities to swoop in and rank ahead of you, which we don't want. So myth number two, quantity over quality. This one we get a lot. So again, SEO sometimes is hard to make it into something that's tangible, right? So we could talk about it all day. Sometimes, again, the scientific art. So we want to make sure that, if I hear things like, I heard I need to post an article on my blog every single day, and it needs to be 20,000 words because I read this article once that said it has to be longer the better. So while some of that is true, the length can contribute to ranking. There's a lot of other factors that contribute to maintaining the rank, including topic relevance. So again, if you sell toothpaste, you're probably not going to want to post an article about how cute your dog is and he sits in the office, which that could be compelling and nice for the users, but it's not going to drive any sales, right? So if you're writing an article about how to train your dog, but you sell toothpaste, might not go one-to-one unless you sell dog toothpaste. So
I want to say this in a different way real quick before we get to natural backlinks. And it sounds so obvious when we talk about it this way. But if you want to show up for, if you have a 0-calorie green tea product and you want to show up for that, you need content on your website that speaks directly to that. And that is a key thing that I think gets forgotten. Jenna's going to show some examples of this in a minute, but why aren't I showing up for this key term? I wrote a blog article about it. It was really long form. That's great. It's part of it's one of the pieces of the puzzle. But if you don't have a page that talks about compostable Keurig cups on your website, you're never going to show up for the keyword search disposable Keurig cups, right? So there's all these different pieces that work together. You have to be relevant on an ongoing basis and creating fresh content all the time. Because again, your competition is, right? So one great way to look at this is to take a look at a website that's of a company that's an aspirational brand for you, a brand that you want to be in 3 years, and take a look at what they're doing. The people that are doing SEO right are pushing out. It's not just quantity, it's not just long form. It's a mix of those things together to be authoritative and truthful and useful to the user. All the content you're pushing out and we're pushing out in our own is useful. We have these webinars because we're trying to be useful. We're trying to push out actual content that actually helps people. So if you're selling black shoes, keep going to this example, your content should be talking in a useful way about black shoes.
Exactly. No, yeah, and that's a perfect segue into the natural backlink. So you have these useful pieces where that's interesting. You know, I am in the market for black shoes, but this article is really cool about the, you know, history of shoes. And also there's an exhibit at the FIT museum that I could go see. This company wrote this cool article about, you know, the damage that, you know, 6-inch heels does to women's feet, you know, anything like that where, oh, that's interesting. I was looking for black shoes, but that's cool that they have this thing here that I'm going to share with my family and send it across Facebook. So natural backlinks does just that. So you'll hear that, and we'll talk through a little bit later on. But if you're creating compelling content, people are naturally going to want to share it, right? So people in the industry that own their own blogs, you know, top 10 places to buy black shoes. If you have quality content, they're going to link to you naturally. If you're showing up organically, someone's doing research for an article they're writing, let me see what's out there about people writing about shoes, the history of shoes. Oh, this has a great article. I'm going to link to it in mine as a point of reference. So that's what we talk about, natural backlinks, not paying for them.
It used to be different. 15 years ago, when I started in SEO, you could buy backlinks in bulk. You could go
the good old days.
The good old days. You could go offshore and you could buy comments on blogs, and people had an industry of this, and it works, right? Because Google was taking a look at how many backlinks there were to your site. That was a tactic that works. There's a joke internally at Google about how that's why you guys can't have nice things, because the industry abused that a little bit. We get to look at the quality of those backlinks, and that gets back to constantly reevaluating. If SEO is your highest converting channel, if organic search is your highest converting channel, and I'm sure it is, maybe not volume-wise, but definitely percentage-wise. It converts, an organic search click converts into a sale better than any other channel you have other than possibly your email remarketing.
Exactly.
You need to constantly be reevaluating strategy to make sure that you're not relying on tactics that were good 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 1 year ago before another update.
Yes, exactly. So that's the natural backlinks. PageSpeed, I'll go into this in more detail a little bit later. But the short version of it is, if you have a slow site, users get frustrated. They're not going to hang out and wait for 10 seconds while your images load. They're going to leave and go to your competitor. So PageSpeed is important, having a quick functioning website. Same thing with mobile friendliness. You want the user to be able to see, you know, if you have a beautiful desktop version, it should be a very similar experience for the user on a mobile. So, you know, links spread out, call to action. They want to call you, they want to add to cart. It should be, you know, all spaced out enough that you can use it with your thumb and you can click. So then user experience, similar idea. They get to a page about black shoes. If there's no buttons for them to exit and go somewhere else, they're not going anywhere else. So we want to keep users on the site. You want to keep them browsing. You want to keep them looking. So that user experience is really important. And then the third and final myth, it's 2020, SEO is dead. I've heard this many times. You know, it comes up a lot in SEO conferences or People discussing where to put their budget, right? So SEO isn't important. My cousin's brother, sister who had a business in marketing says SEO doesn't matter. So sure, there's a lot of things out there, like, the ad space is expanding, so the organic search is pushed lower, and then you can combat that with statistics like, well, a percent of people don't even click on ads, or they do, so there's all this debate about SEO being dead. But in reality, the study that was done in 2019, about 65% of total e-commerce sessions, so that's all traffic coming in, not from it was generated through search traffic. So 65% of total e-commerce sessions were generated through search traffic. And then 33% of that was generated through organic search. So that's a big number. So people are still looking for, people are still looking for, black shoes, great, toothpaste, organic diet, green tea lemonade. They're looking for these things. If for some reason, an ad isn't there, or it is, the organic search result is still
or listing twice is great. God forbid you list twice, and your competitor is now pushed down the page. So the other way to look at this, I see Travis from one of our clients is on the meeting here. So we sell B2B, right? At Mason Interactive, we don't sell to business to consumers. We don't sell a widget. We don't sell black shoes. We sell services and execution to people and strategy. We have a business plan for growth, which obviously got COVIDed up a little bit. But we know at Mason, we know how many new businesses we need to talk to every single, hey Travis, we need to know we have a goal every month to have a certain number of conversations with new prospects, new people that we would like to work with. We know that they have to come from a variety of sources. They used to come from conferences. We used to do a lot of conferences at Google and at Facebook. Those are obviously not on the table right now. So we had to adjust our plan. And we know that we need to get, I'll tell you the number, we need to talk to 16 new people every month at Mason Interactive. That's our internal goal. If we talk to 16 people, we'll hit our sales goals for the year. A third of those come from SEO in our own business. The other 2/3 are from email and ads and referrals and people I know and 5 other different sources. I'm putting the money where my mouth is, and SEO is the place where we focus our internal efforts on letting new customers find us.
Right. Yep. 1/3. That was kind of hit the nose on the head. 33, nail on the head. Right. I'm getting my words mixed up, but absolutely. So we, considering all of that, right? We touched on a little bit of everything there. Content, optimizing for the user, optimizing for the search and the purchase intent. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what a successful SEO campaign looks like. Again, this is, a small glance at what you might be looking for, but best outdoor furniture. We're stuck at home. I'm actively looking for this. I want to sit outside. We want to enjoy our house. So best outdoor furniture, I'm going to search it in Google, best outdoor furniture. And what I do see is local SEO, so people that are near me on Long Island in New York. I typed in best, and automatically Google filters out all the bad reviews. They say 4 and above, so I'm only going to see the best, right? So Crate and Barrel has done a good job with this. They put best outdoor patio furniture in their title, their description. Similar results are there that we've optimized for, that they've optimized for. So if you click on the result, outdoor furniture, front and center, outdoor, ways to search it, outdoor dining, outdoor pillows. These are semantic related keywords. Google has picked up on that. This page must be about the best outdoor furniture because they have everything. They have couches and collections and umbrellas and everything you need for the outdoor space. Best outdoor furniture, quote unquote, is, peppered into the content. And then if you come to the bottom here, this is, I like to look at this because here, if you were that interested, those images didn't capture you. You really wanted to take note at, let me read more about how I can decorate with my patio furnishing. So furniture. So my best guess is this was written by an SEO person. They knew they wanted to rank for outdoor furniture or best or high end or nice. They wanted to rank for outdoor furniture. So they came here and they created content that spoke directly to those searches. Patio furniture for entertaining, patio furniture for lounging, patio furniture to add to your decor, things like that. So they've really taken that keyword research step and exploded. So they took it all and they said, listen, here's, we want to deliver the best possible landing page for somebody looking for all of these keywords. And that's what this content is doing. It's hidden strategically at the bottom. So, you know, we like to consider SEO as a demand generating platform, right? So we want that strategy to really hit home. So we would do something like this, where we would say, that's great that you want to rank for tote bags for work, but if we don't have any content on the site or on a page that talks about it, we'll never get there. So that's really, you know, we talk about topic relevance and content for the user. This is it. So another example, Neoprene backpacks. This is a real search. It's a client that we work with. So if I did a search for Neoprene backpack, it's specific. The search intent is there for somebody who wants to buy that. Our paid ads are front and center, 1 and 2. And then our organic result is right below it. So there's reviews, right? So that's important, click-through rate. Neoprene backpack is in the title, it's in the description. People also search for, we've optimized other pages for all of those key terms. So Google's recognizing that all of these things are connected. So hence the #1 position. Again, we optimized this about a month ago and we're already ranking #1. Again, timelines differ, but that's a really pretty good use case. So again, we're not slamming Google over the head with Neoprene backpack. We're, again, sprinkling it in, peppering it in. It has Neoprene luggage handle sleeves. It is a backpack. The materials that we use are made of neoprene. So, you know, we're capturing that result by including it in the content. Now, on the back end of it, there's technical implications that come into play where we see these beautiful images. We optimize on the back end, what we call image alt text. So that image behind this could say, this is the Dakota backpack. That image alt text would probably say something like, the Dakota backpack made of neoprene, or neoprene Dakota backpack from Dagny Dover. So there's a lot of things you can manipulate. We don't have a huge chunk of text on here. We have a small description, but it's so targeted for that term that we know that that's, you know, we did an A/B test. We knew that this is what we wanted to rank for, and here we had to go in, optimize, you know, about 15 different elements, and, you know, update our internal linking structure, and we, you know, did a couple of other things behind the scenes, and here we are ranking right alongside our paid result.
So I want to talk about that last one just for a quick second.
Sure.
That client calls their bag a Dakota. That is their brand, and their brand is religious to them, and it should be. It's one of their superpowers. We always talk about our clients having superpowers. If you don't have a superpower, you can't fight. And they have at least 2 superpowers there, and one of them is the brand. But one of the discussions we have is Dakota is their internal term. It's their branded term for their backpack. And no one knows what the Dakota is, right? Only existing customers know what the Dakota is. And so we have to focus not necessarily for organic search, not necessarily on the branded experience of Dakota, but more on neoprene, because there are more people searching for neoprene backpack than there are searching for Dakota backpack, right? And if we're going to use your top converting channel, search engine, organic search, as a discovery tool to let new people know who you are so that they can buy from you, we have to use the data to drive the decision to say, you know what, we're not going to try to optimize for Dakota, because as wonderful as a name as that is, if you don't know who Dakota is, the Dakota backpack is, you can't search for it. We're going to instead let the data say, all right, let's focus on neoprene backpack because that's a discovery key term. That's a thing we can actually search for. And that's a key thing to think about when you're talking about your SEO strategy. And we do it internally. We spend a lot of time thinking about whether we want to show up for boutique marketing agency in New York City or performance marketing agency New York, for example. That is a discussion we've had for hours at our office, because I can think we're one thing, but if people aren't looking for that, it doesn't really matter, right? We need to optimize our website to show up for the keywords that people are actually using, so that they can discover us, so that we can have a business conversation about moving forward.
Exactly. And discovery has 2, I won't go too off topic here, but discovery keywords have 2 paths. So discovery with purchase intent. So neoprene backpack, again, sounds like somebody who wants to buy it. But if we had, like a skincare, if you had a skincare website, and the search was how much calcium does my body need, or something like that. The article, we would provide if that was important to them, we noticed that people were getting to their site that way, we would recommend a piece of content, whether that be an article or something, a landing page that talks about that at length, with opportunities to funnel them back into the site where they can make a purchase. So those discovery keywords, again, two facets: discovery with purchase intent, or discovery with from an education standpoint. So those are two very important aspects as well. So the key takeaways, the top focus areas for e-commerce, if you leave with nothing, remember these: the keyword research and optimization. I touched on that a bit with the, you saw those examples for Neoprene backpack and for outdoor furniture. A successful SEO campaign starts with keyword research, right? We make sure that we agree on keywords that you as a client are comfortable with. It expresses your brand. But we, as marketing specialists, we identify them for you and say, hey, this keyword has a ton of search volume. The competition, it looks like, with a little bit of help, we could potentially rank above the competition. So keyword research, optimization. That optimization just means, again, if you want to rank for Neoprene backpack, you need to optimize your page for that term. Content creation. I talked earlier about compelling product descriptions. So we don't want to leave those high and dry. Visuals are great, but in order for Google to understand what a page is about, you need that content there. The internal link structure, again, so if you're writing content on a blog, you want to make sure that the link to, if you ever mention Neoprene backpack, it is ingrained in us that we link to the Neoprene backpack Dakota landing page. So no other place. We are boosting up the authority of that one page that we have deemed, this page is about backpacks, it's about Neoprene backpacks, it's about gray Neoprene backpacks. So anytime you mention any of those words, you link to that page to boost the authority on that. Ongoing technical updates. So this is something we do internally. We're constantly running technical audits to make sure that your site is functioning properly. I won't bore you with the details, but you always want to have a good, clean bill of health from Google. There's a number of ways we get there. Making sure that your site is running smoothly and fast. There's no broken links. There is, your title tags are optimized. There are, no pages that don't link anywhere. Those are called orphan pages. There's a ton of things. We want to make sure that in Google's eyes, we are presenting a nice package here. The site is, bug-free. The users can navigate to everything on the site without problems. So that's very important as well. And then again, the natural backlinking. You want to build content that people want to share and they want to talk about. Measuring success is a huge one, whether you hire somebody or you do it yourself. You want to make sure you are aware of what page people are dropping off of. You have 10,000 visitors last month, but you only had, a 1% conversion rate. Why? Do we have unnecessary content? Do we have problems in the user experience? A ton of things. You want to make sure that you're aware of, yes, how many users are coming to your site. Yes, how many keywords are ranking in first, second, third, 100th position. But you also want to know what to do with that. So every, week, bi-weekly, monthly, we look at that data and that drives our strategy. So the performance drives the strategy. We always want to make sure we're, cool, we're ranking for this obscure long tail keyword that no one's ranking for. What can we do to get more users to click and to buy? That's the main goal always. So one take-home tip that you can do on your own, I talked a lot about page speed, and if your site is slow, people are going to leave. So Google has, page speed is often confused with site speed. So site speed, if you were ever in Google Analytics and you saw that 1,000 people came to your site last month, but it took an average of 9 seconds for your content to load, that's the page speed for the users that came to the site. So out of those 1,000 people, on average, it took 9 seconds to load certain pages. That's information that you can take and say, okay, I need to work with my developer or my SEO team to fix that. Now, page speed is in Google's eyes, not the user. It's in Google's eyes. If it crawls your site, it looks at how long it takes a page to load and how long there is time to first byte. Time to first byte is simply how long in milliseconds it takes Google to crawl the first element of your site, which is a ranking factor. It's a mouthful and it's boring, but it is a ranking factor. So it's important to make sure that your site is fast. Just some numbers real quick. I think I hit this point a lot, but as page load time goes from 1 to 3 seconds, so anything over that quick, under a second, the probability of somebody bouncing, AKA leaving without interacting at all, not even scrolling or clicking, increases by 32%. And then you go all the way down. If it takes anywhere from 1 second to 10 seconds, the probability of someone leaving increases to about 123%. So very important. You could have the best site, the best optimization, the best keywords, but if people are sitting waiting for it to load, it's a problem.
People have no patience. If it takes too long, they leave.
Yes, I have no patience. Absolutely. I'm just kidding. I have patience. Okay, so here's what I mentioned, a little take home. So again, we will send this out after the webinar. We're almost done, I promise. We'll get to Q&A in a minute. But Google's PageSpeed Insights is a tool that you can use. All you do is click on this link, you type in your URL, and it gives you a score after a couple of seconds. It's usually out of 100, and you get one for mobile and one for desktop. So it tells you off the bat if it's slow, if there's a problem. There's a lot of technical jargon in there, but it gives you a pretty good understanding of where your site is performing in terms of speed. So again, we'll send that out after.
We'll send that out. We'll be recording this made available, and we want to do a Q&A. So stop sharing our screen, I think, and we'll just become talking heads like we're on network television. So we have some great questions in the chat. I'm going to answer one from Madison about once SEO efforts start, how soon can you expect to see ranking improvements? That's unique to every client. There are situations where we've seen a problem, like we talk about low-hanging fruit. We've seen a problem, we fix it, you rank tomorrow. It does happen. It is not what you should expect. SEO, we talk about it as owning your home versus renting your home. Media buying is renting your home because you can move in tomorrow. You can get that apartment in the East Village tomorrow. You don't have to save up to develop equity. You're paying every month forever. You pay Google for clicks. SEO is more about owning your home and developing the equity in your website's authority so that you show up at the top of the search engine and you don't have to pay for every click, right? So it is true that some people see ranking improvements immediately. It's also true that people see concerted efforts over the course of 4 years. We have SEO clients that are 8 years old that have been slowly improving over time. Selena asked a question about a good place to start when creating relevant content for keywords that you want to rank for, and I think that's a Jenna question. What is a good place to start when creating relevant content for keywords that I want to rank for? Yes,
perfect. So when you look at, in terms of creating content, the first step I mentioned before is keyword research. So there's many tools. I like Answer the Public. If you put in a key term you think you want to rank for, and there's a free version of Answer the Public. Some of it is paid, but and there's many tools. But I think, if you type in a keyword you want to rank for, it spits out real questions that people are asking. If you put in black shoes, it might come in, it's a big grid that shows up, what is the most expensive black shoe, history of black shoe, I keep going back to this example, but your first step, again, keyword research. You want to identify keywords that talk about your products and your brand. You want to identify the search volume, so how many people are searching. So I mentioned that before, if there's a result that we're saying, hey, we're position number 1 on this obscure term that no one's looking for, we're not getting anything out of that. So we want to look for keywords that are, again, discovery, transactional, educational, and what we do on our end is we put all these types of keywords in buckets, and then we kind of back into content that way. We say, okay, I have these keywords. I don't have topics yet about it. I'm going to back into this keyword and talk about some type of content. So trends, seasonality, there's a lot of different ways to identify what users are looking for. And the best place to do it is if you identify a keyword and you start looking for some topics, the best thing to do is do a quick Google search on that topic and see what's out there, because you could look at those results and say, hey, I'm much more of an authority on this matter. I could create an article that's worlds better than what is out there right now. So we always like to see that too.
For us.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going through some of these questions. Thank you for that answer. So we actually have a shoe client. I won't. And I see they're on the meeting. We have a client that sells vegan shoes. We buy all of our clients' products so we can sample it and feel it and touch it and see what the product is like. And we don't work with this client on SEO, but I would be curious in that case, as an example, is vegan shoes the keyword you want to show up for on Google, or is it earth-friendly shoes, or is it? I don't know what the answer is. I haven't done that research for them. But I'm just trying to get to the point that there's an iteration, there's a thinking around saying, all right, maybe vegan is the right term, maybe vegan shoes is the right term for us to show up on. Maybe it's no leather shoes instead. I have a suspicion that leather-free has probably got more search terms, more people searching for it than vegan. I think no leather is probably a broader term. So if we were to engage in SEO with that client who sells vegan shoes, we'd probably, I'm doing this as I go, but we'd probably want to get them to focus on no leather as opposed to vegan. So we answered Madison's question. We answered Selena's question about creating relevant content. Steve Randall asked about how paid media and SEO work together, and the answer is really well. So at our company, Jenna leads the SEO team, Adrian leads the media team, but their teams have to talk about what to rank for. I think the ideal thing would be if you never had to pay Google for a click again. I think most people on this call would rather turn off their Google Ads account and just have SEO deliver the results. That's not going to happen. That's Google's a public company with revenue targets. That's not going to happen. But there's a point in ranking for both of them. So let's go back to one of our clients. I would never want Lulu Frost, a jewelry client of ours, to show up for the keyword jewelry on paid search. That would be a really good way to get Lulu Frost to fire us, because they sell a specific kind of vintage-inspired, New York City inflected jewelry. I would want them to show up organically on the keyword jewelry or heirloom jewelry or something like that. And that's sort of a wish list that would be hard to get to. But if they're not paying per click on a broad term like jewelry, and I can get people to discover the brand through that, that's great. So they work together, Steve, when the two teams talk and say, what keywords are you ranking for that are converting really well on paid? How can we get more volume by also ranking well for them in SEO? And other key terms that we simply can't rank for in SEO because Victoria's Secrets is there and we're not going to beat them. Okay, then we'll do that paid. So the things need to work together and mesh together. I hope that's helpful. Selena has a question about running an SEO campaign and paid media at the same time, which I think we just addressed. Caroline is asking, or it could be Caroline, who knows? Caroline is asking, do I have time to optimize my site for Black Friday? That's a tricky one, Jenna. You want to address that one?
Yeah, so a lot of times when we're running a campaign, we will identify those markers, right? So we'll identify seasonal, summer, well, depending on the product, if there is a need for it. Sales, we'll align our efforts with sales. So we'll have clients that run, their fall line coming out. We will do the back end optimization of the content, the title tags, the descriptions, all of those things we will do before the page even launches, so that once it does, we're already set and we're ready for optimizations, and then we can move on to the content piece. So to answer your question, do I have time to optimize? Absolutely. It just depends on the nature of the keywords. So if you're trying to rank for Black Friday, I'm sorry, you probably won't. But if they're, brand plus Black Friday sale, or product name plus Black Friday, or something like that, a type of product that you offer plus Black Friday, I think absolutely. And the sooner the better. We do things ahead of time. So if you did something like an article on your site, and then you also had a landing page on your site that the article linked to, coming soon, even if it's just a placeholder, coming soon, Black Friday sale countdown, and then a month or two in advance, the products are a sneak peek or something like that. Absolutely. So yes, you do have time, sooner the better, because that along with promo codes or discount codes are usually pretty popular.
Great. So thank you, Jenna. So there's some more questions in the chat. We try to keep these things brief. We try to make them informational. We try to make them non-salesy. I do have to end in a little sales note. the way we approach this is, well, Caroline, the way we approach this is we do an audit. So if someone comes to us and they say, can I rank for Black Friday? What will be the benefit of ranking for these terms in SEO? How much time and effort should I spend in this? Our first step is to do an audit, and it's free, and we will compare you to the competition. Other agencies will ask to get into your account and get analytics access, and we can do that. But we're more interested in what the competitive set's doing. If you're a bra startup and you want to rank against Victoria's Secret for Racerback, I want to know what Victoria's Secret's doing differently than you, right? And I want to see what we can learn from them, or what Lively might be doing, or what True and whoever might be doing. So I just have to end with that we appreciate your guys' time coming in. I hope we're useful. We strive to be useful in these events. If you have any questions, you can follow up with us directly. A copy of this will be made available, and we're happy to conduct a free audit for anyone's marketing campaign to see where they stand. So with that, I think we're going to end and wrap it up, Ms. Vaccaro.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Again, we'll send, if any of those questions we didn't get to, we'll send them out, and feel free to reach out to us. Thanks again.